This week's threat level, extreme.
Coming up, the DMV explains at length why a death certificate does not count as secondary identification. A house on Elm Street has had 3 residents this month, according to 3 separate neighbours, none of whom agree on a single detail. The Saturday market gets a visitor with a taste for stone fruit preserves and no vendor badge. And we're spending some real time tonight with the most prolific witness in Harlan's Creek, who you're going to hear from more than once before we're done. Don't go anywhere. G'day Harlan's Creek, Friday, humid, and the DMV had a day. I'm Jack Doolan. This is Dispatch from the Creek, the local report nobody asked for, delivered anyway.
This week's sightings.
Starting at the DMV on Route 9, where Thursday was, by all accounts, a normal day right up until ticket number 47 was called. Individual matching descriptions of, and I'm reading this exactly as filed, a reanimated deceased person took a ticket at 10:15, waited 47 minutes without incident and reached the counter with 3 forms of identification: an expired 1987 licence, a library card from a branch that doesn't exist anymore, and a death certificate dated 2003. DMV Supervisor Renee Allard was good enough to give us the full breakdown. Quote, "He had his expired licence, he had his death certificate, he did not have a current utility bill, a social security card, a passport, or anything issued in the last 22 years. I cannot work with that. I told him I cannot work with that." End quote. He left without argument, walked north on Route 9 on foot, hasn't been back. For what it's worth, the licence he was renewing, assuming he ever sorts the paperwork, would have expired again in 2029. Nobody at the DCA regional office has confirmed whether that's a compounding issue or just how the form works. They're aware of the question. That's as far as it's gotten. Second one, 14 Elm Street out in the Pines has had 3 noise and violation complaints filed against it this month. Wind chime after 9, trailer on the driveway apron, bins out too early. Normal HOA staff, except the 3 complaints, describe 3 completely different people. Silver-haired woman in her 50s, heavy-set bloke about 40, teenage boy who stood in front yard for 45 minutes at 6 in the morning and didn't move. Property's owned by Gerald Folks, no relation to Deborah out at the water plant. She wanted that on record specifically. No current occupant listed, not vacant either, just nothing. Apparently that's a valid status under the county code. Hasn't been used since 1987. Our Mara Vane went out to the house Tuesday afternoon, lawn mowed, bins in. Nobody answered the door. She noted the door was warm to the touch. She didn't put that in her filing at the time. Added about 4 hours later. Hasn't said why. Third one, and Sheriff Calhoun's office is on this one directly. Entity matching a Category 3 profile spent about 90 minutes at Saturday's farmers market. Browsed 7 stalls, handled produce it didn't pay for, took a genuine interest in the Bellamy Farm preserves table specifically. 1 jar of blackberry conserve is unaccounted for.
The matter is being handled through the appropriate channels.
That's 341 if anyone's counting. We've started counting. Radio Eddie was on his bench this week, same as always. Didn't ask him about any of this specifically. Didn't have to.
Busy week. Always is. Right before a quiet one.
Make of that what you will. I've stopped trying. Moving on.
Filed under. Witness interview file 0406. Internal, not for release. Location WTC Studio B, Maplewood Annex. Witness, Sheriff Linda Calhoun. Interviewer, Harold Ridgway. DCA case reference, DCA HC 2005 00406.
Sheriff Calhoun, thank you for coming in. For the record, this is Harold Ridgway, lead anchor, What the Cryptid Network, conducting a witness intake interview on behalf of the DCA Regional Office, Harlan's Creek Division, case reference DCA HC 2025-0406. The date is the 14th. Sheriff Calhoun, you've been in law enforcement in this county for 27 years.
27 years, yes.
And this is your first formal witness intake with this office.
I've submitted 41 Form DCA 9s, local law enforcement supplement, filed in triplicate. I wasn't aware those didn't count.
DCA note, they count. Regional office has not opened 38 of them. This has not been communicated to Sheriff Calhoun and will not be.
They count, Sheriff. This intake relates specifically to the incident logged at Kellerman Road, milepost 11, on the morning of the 9th. A resident of that area, name withheld per DCA protocol, called your department at approximately 6:43 a.m. Can you describe what you found when you responded?
I can confirm we responded to an incident at that location and that the matter is being handled through the appropriate channels.
Sheriff, you are here today as a witness, not in your capacity as responding officer. The DCA has already received the Form DCA 9, correctly completed, thank you, and we are supplementing that record. The question is for the witness.
I responded at 6:51. Deputy Holt was already on scene. The caller had reported an obstruction in the road.
And was there an obstruction in the road?
There was something in the road.
Can you describe it?
I can describe what I observed. What I observed was a large figure, stationary, approximately 8 feet in height, standing in the center of the westbound lane at milepost 11. It was not moving. It appeared to be looking at the road surface.
Looking at the road surface.
That was my assessment. Its head was inclined downward. Deputy Holt agreed.
DCA note, Deputy Holt's separate account obtained informally describes the figure as appearing to be studying something. Deputy Holt could not identify what.
How long was it stationary?
It was stationary when we arrived. It remained stationary for approximately 4 minutes after our arrival. Then it crouched.
It crouched.
Down to road level. It appeared to be examining something more closely. There is a pothole at that location. Milepost 11, westbound lane. It has been on the county repair schedule since October.
The figure crouched and examined the pothole.
That is what Deputy Holt and I observed. Yes.
For how long?
Approximately 6 minutes. Then it stood. Then it left the road.
Did it make any sound?
One sound, when it stood.
Can you describe the sound?
It sounded like someone who had just confirmed something they had already suspected.
DCA note, witness is describing a nonverbal utterance. No further clarification was offered. None was asked for.
Sheriff, in your 27 years in this county, in any capacity, have you previously observed anything consistent with what you encountered at milepost 11 on the 9th?
I can confirm we have responded to incidents at various locations, and that those matters have been handled through the appropriate channels. I will say this, the pothole is still there. I would like it noted for the record that the pothole is still there.
Noted, for the record. Sheriff Calhoun, thank you for your time. This concludes the intake interview for case DCA HC 2025-0406.
Case status, open. Supplemental field review pending. County road maintenance records for Kellerman Road westbound. Milepost 11 requested. Request has not been acknowledged. DCA summary. Sheriff reports 8-foot stationary figure. Examined county pothole for approximately 6 minutes before departing. Pothole remains unrepaired. Disposition open. Voices of the Creek.
took the recorder around town this week, asked a few residents what they made of it all. Started with Chuck down at the gas station.
DMV thing's the real story. Man's been dead 23 years, and he's still got better paperwork organization than half this town. Says something. I'm not saying what.
Noted.
Well, I've said for years the HOA needs a proper anomaly clause in the bylaws. And now look, 3 complaints, 3 descriptions, and the board's out there acting like this is a wind chime issue. I raised this exact scenario at the March meeting. Nobody wrote it down.
I'll make sure this gets written down.
If it comes round here, I'll feed it same as anything else. Doesn't matter what it is, dear. Everybody's hungry sometimes. I've got a casserole that's been in the freezer since Easter. It can have that.
That's genuinely more hospitable than most of us.
The market thing, that's not random. That's a supply run. They're stockpiling. Preserves keep, you know. I've done the math on this. Nobody wants to hear the math.
I don't want to hear the math either, Skeeter, but I respect the commitment. That's Voices of the Creek.
Community notice.
Wallace & Wallace, funeral services and hardware, separately administered, same discretion applied to both. Pre-planning consultations available by appointment, evening viewings by arrangement. We are open to unusual requests. We do not discuss which ones we've had.
Around the Creek.
Community calendar for the week. Thursday, Market Standards Committee's called an emergency session, 6:30 at the Municipal Meeting Room. Agenda includes the Preserves complaint, a vendor signage update, and I'm reading this directly off the agenda, preliminary discussion of liability waiver coverage for entities operating outside standard consumer parameters. Open to the public, bring your own opinion on what that means. Saturday, market's back on as normal, 8 a.m. Committees asked attendees not to offer samples to anyone who doesn't look like they're going to pay. Vendors have been told to use their judgment. Nobody's defined judgment. Stopped by the diner again this week. Junior was on. Junior, anything on the market thing, seeing as it's basically down the road from you?
Wasn't there.
Didn't say you were.
Then we're square.
Quick run through this week's classifieds board. Found small spherical object approximately 3 inches emits a low hum found near Baxter Springs Road. Call to identify 304 555 7291. For sale, 3 gently used goat containment circles, good condition, $75 each. 304 555 8124. Wanted, someone to share nighttime porch watch. Must have own thermos. 304 555 4022. Lost, 1 black cat, answers to next. Last seen near Old Mill Bridge. Reward offered 304 555 6677. If it's the cat you find, that's a happy ending. If it's the other thing, do not identify it over the phone.
Faces of the Creek.
So let's actually talk about Barry Hutchins for a minute. 62, retired, lives out on Maple Street. 48 sightings on file with the DCA going back years. His file on last Saturday's blood drive alone runs 41 pages. Regional Office has confirmed receipt of all of them. Regional Office has not actioned any of them. They keep arriving anyway. Barry's theories are, by any fair account, almost certainly wrong. The DMV visitor was, in his professional opinion, an alien in a convincing suit. The Elm Street situation he's attributed to what he calls a Type 4 entity, operating under a civic engagement protocol. He watched the feet, specifically, for 9 days running and has a 14-page written account of the gait not quite matching between appearances. None of it holds up. All of it's on file. The DCA processes every page anyway, which, after enough years, starts to look less like institutional habit and more like nobody wants to be the one who tells him to stop. For what it's worth, Barry's take on tonight's stories, quote, real personal growth, referring to the blood drive entity choosing a public health event over, his words, a private residence. I don't know what to do with that assessment. I'm including it anyway, that's the job. And as always, still no update on Greg. Somebody's started watering the desk plant though, nobody said who.
Correction.
One correction to last episode's report on the Fall Festival. We said the venue review was scheduled for January. That's been moved up this coming week, in fact. The committee chair says it's a scheduling matter, not an urgency matter. She did not elaborate on the difference. We're printing her answer as given. That's dispatch from the creek for this week, a death certificate that doesn't count, a house that can't settle on an occupant, a blackberry conserve unaccounted for, and Barry Hutchins doing more work than the DCA regional office at this point. If you see something, report it. If it's wearing a suit and asking about renewal timelines, let the DMV handle it. I'm Jack Doolan. Check your bins are in before 7, and if a stranger asks to borrow your thermos for the night shift, read the classifieds first. And if anyone sees Greg, the plant's doing fine. He'd want to know that. As always, you can find all the latest news and updates on the website www.whatthecryptid.com. See you next time.
Bye.